Today we have the incredible James Sell joining us for Seekr Speakers. James is a global talent director who's most recently been working for Flight Group, which is an investment company formed by Stephen Bartlett. James has been in our network for well over a year now and has been part of our Seekr Speakers Roundtable events, as well as being a great ambassador for our team. James is here to talk about a very hot topic right now, candidate experience. James, hello. Candidate experience is such a hot topic right now, but for the wrong reasons. What is it about this topic that makes you so passionate, and why did you want to talk to us about it today?
So firstly, thank you for inviting me here. Really happy to be here. And this is a topic that I've been passionate about for a long time, but I agree with you. I think at the moment it's a very prominent kind of topic, and for a number of reasons. I think that first and foremost, if you're in a people or talent role, you're going to care about people. In that respect, you're also going to care about the talent brands, which is not only the company's brand, but it's your brand. I think the second part is the fact that over the last couple of years, we faced a lot of economic challenges. There's a lot of instability, whether you're talking about anything from Brexit to kind of COVID to recession. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that's created a lot of fear. It's affected a lot of people and some of their careers. I think in that sense, the candidate experience has become a much more emotive kind of experience for candidates. And the pressure that's also then put on the internal teams with the fact that they've been stripped back, it creates a lot of kind of challenges. But it's super important. Like, if people are investing their time and effort in your business, I think you've got to kind of not only have a level of professionalism, but also a level of empathy for what kind of the time and like effort they have invested, and make sure you kind of reflect that in as much as you can with the resources that you have.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think any good recruiter will always be striving for excellent candidate experience. And it's something that we've seen change drastically over the last 18 months, considering the tech market. You're right, talent teams have been stripped right back. There's an abundance of talent in the market right now, and candidate experience has just taken that backseat completely. But in your opinion, how do internal talent teams keep up with candidate demand?
I think it's hard. It's hard because the fact that it's been a bit of a knee-jerk reaction over the last couple of years, and teams have been stripped back. I think you've had to adapt a lot of your processes because you've not only got to try and retain those kind of best practices and center of excellences and do that with less resource, but you've also, like you said, you've got probably more talent on the market. So the inbound it has increased. So arguably to say work levels have increased overall. I think ultimately what you've got to try and do is champion to the kind of right people at the right time in the business when it's back on the way up, for that additional resource, and not only kind of illustrate those kind of commercial kind of benefits, but also utilize kind of data, whether it's through candidate surveys and the impact it's having on your wider employer brand. I think it's super kind of important to kind of champion kind of what you're trying to tell them. I think in the short term, there's a couple kind of areas that you can be looking at. Also, what is your process and where is the candidate experience dropping off? Is it at the application process? So, is it just a really kind of automated kind of process and there's no kind of interaction whatsoever? Have you got too much inbound? So in that sense, do you want to kind of complicate the process a bit more, put in tasks, but ask for more kind of information, cover letters, all of those kind of things to essentially make sure that you're not just making those easy apply for everyone to apply, which can kind of increase your volume, but you're really getting people that are genuinely interested in your company and your brand and that role kind of applying. So I think that's one kind of part. I think the next piece is further down in the process. What does the interview process look like? Like, have you equipped your hiring managers in the right way to create not only a robust and fair and equitable process, but make sure that, they're up to speed on what kind of best practices from an inclusive hiring perspective, and therefore have you put some training in place to kind of make sure that they're equipped to do that. And again, that champions kind of the TA team or the talent team as well. And then later down the line, I think you've also got to look at when you're interacting with candidates. And how are you doing it? So is it always just an automated response? Are you kind of mirroring the fact that if they've invested time and effort, whether it's in a task or a telephone interview or a face-to-face, are they getting some of that back? Is it a generic response? Is it more kind of humane, or kind of you put a bit more empathy in the process by the fact that the recruiter or the hiring manager is feeding that back? And also throughout the process, are you managing expectations? Do people know kind of what the process looks like at the very beginning? through an automated response. So you've given them an understanding of, okay, if you apply, you're going to get a response within 5 days if you've been successful to the next stage. At interview stage, you manage expectations around when they're going to hear back or what the next stage is going to be. So I think you take a combined approach to it to make sure that at every opportunity, you made sure that it's a valuable experience for the candidate.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about AI. What tech are you using and what have you used in the past?
So AI is obviously a huge kind of buzzword at the moment and everyone's talking about it. I think from my personal experience with AI, I've used more kind of generative AI kind of tools. So everything from your kind of chat GPTs and associated products like DALL-E to your Geminis, your Pis, image generation, things like Midjourney, or kind of, your PowerPoint presentation stuff with Canva and Adobe and stuff like that. So I've played around with a couple and there are some great kind of benefits of using them. What I would say to start off with is companies probably need to kind of just go back to basics on a lot of this stuff. Like, whether you're a startup or you're an established organization, I reckon most companies, or my experience has been, that they have not been utilizing things like their ATSs to kind of their full potential. And you've actually got to make sure you've got a really strong, robust process to start off with that's powered by your software. And the ATSs, by association, also have other integrations with other tools that they can use as well, Candly, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But there are some great benefits to some of these AI tools. If you're in the position you're ready to explore them, they are fantastic with idea generation. They are great for everything from creating inclusive job descriptions. Mm. A lot of companies are still using job descriptions that are 5 or 10 years old. Like, let's get with the program, let's make sure they're up to date, roles adapted, and kind of make sure that those job descriptions reflect the skills that you need now. Mm-hmm. But making sure, again, from a DEI perspective, that they are inclusive. Like, take away those mundane tasks from a talent team and use it for stuff like that. Taking it a step further, you can use them to create bespoke job questions or interview questions, like competency-based questions for the process. You can use tools to kind of automate the process in terms of thinking like Calendly and automatically scheduling kind of screening calls or face-to-face interviews. There are some fantastic tools out there, like MetaView. So, like we're having a conversation now. If this was an interview, we could have MetaView on the background, transcribing the whole kind of process, so that I'm interacting with you. I'm making it a human process. I'm listening to what you're talking about. You're listening to what I'm talking about, and there's a real kind of back and forth. You're
taking notes and
exactly. Plus, if you think about kind of human error, like taking notes, spelling mistakes, this, that, and the other. If you've got an AI tool that can transcribe everything, fantastic. And, you can go back, you can make sure what's been said, what hasn't been said, all of those kind of things. So there are some great kind of tools out there. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it negatively impact candidate experience, though?
Essentially, a lot of the AI, what it's doing is automating. But automation is automation. It's not human. It lacks empathy. Mm-hmm. It lacks that human touch. And you are dealing with people in their careers, and people spend more time at their work than they do with their family and friends. Mm-hmm. So, it has a big impact on them. I think in that sense, there is a way that AI can have a more positive impact. But at the moment, I think it will have a positive impact at the moment through indirectly, in the sense of, we talked about some of these tools, so Calendly, MetaView, so all those mundane tasks will free up the capacity of the recruiter to actually spend more time with the actual candidate.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's going to really add value. Further on, I think bots are going to be really big. The same way you've got kind of customer service bots at the moment, I think AI some recruiters can plug into this as well to kind of allow candidates to kind of essentially log in or interact with their brand and get an update on their process in real time. So it's like, okay, I've applied for a talent director role. Okay. At Seekhr. Mm-hmm. Where am I in the process, or when will I hear back? And it will tell me based on the fact that it's interacted with the ATS and it knows on average how long it takes for everyone to go through a stage, or what we've pre-programmed in to kind of say, okay, within 7 days this is our SLA, blah, 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 blah. But at least then it starts managing expectations better, and it gives candidates a bit more control on what's kind of going on in the process.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in recruitment, AI is no longer a buzzword, right? It's a game changer for those who are willing to embrace it. But for those who are still skeptical, how would you recommend that they start?
I think like anything, it's just educating and upskilling yourself. So recruiters, I think, are generally quite inquisitive. Like we are like we're nosy. We love to know everyone's business. We love to kind of learn, and people really interest us. I think it's the same with other things. I think any good recruiter embeds themselves within their team. So, for example, if you're in tech recruitment, you've probably done a couple of coding courses, right, to kind of understand kind of front end, back end, DevOps, whatever it might be. So you can talk the same language to the candidates, you can qualify candidates better, and you also get some credibility with your hiring managers. I think AI is the same thing. I think it's scary at the moment for a lot of people, and it can feel quite overwhelming because it's such a big thing and everyone's talking about it.
There's so much you can do, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I think there's a multitude of ways you approach it. One, look at your organization, like how every organization is investing it, and start talking to those people that are already earlier adopters within the organization, understand kind of how they've approached it or how you can repurpose what they're doing for kind of your area for talent. I think the second piece is, we have so much content at fingertips. So it's like, whether it's videos, it's articles, like I'd say start kind of watching stuff, start learning, start reading. And then the last piece is going to be around courses. There's so many good bite-sized courses that you can do for free. So I know for a fact, like Google, NVIDIA, and Microsoft do a number of kind of courses across kind of LLMs, so large language models. They do stuff around generative AI. There's tons that you can do, and they'll take anything from an hour to 10 hours, depending on the complexity or how much you want to immerse yourself. But I think that's a really good way. And if all that fails, ask AI. Like, ask ChatGPT, ask Gemini. Like, where should I start? And it's great for that idea generation. The only watch out, I'd say, is one, try and really kind of be strategic around kind of what areas you want to kind of look at and kind of why. So what, why, and how. Kind of ask yourself those kind of questions so you don't go too far down a rabbit hole and you really ascertain the kind of the answers that you're looking for. I think the second part as well is, remember, AI is not gospel. It's like it is bias. Every single one will have a bias. So like with any other information, you need to use it as a kind of a data point, but not the only one, because it's still learning, it's still developing, and it's not infallible.
Yeah, for me, it's learning how to communicate with it.
Yeah, and the more you do, it adapts to kind of you. I mean, you've got to have an account, and there are pros and benefits of some of the different ones out there. ChatGPT is great, but its most advanced features are sat behind a paywall. Gemini uses live data, so it's much better in that respect. And you can plug it into the Google suite, and there's so many other tools there that you can use. Pi is really good, and it has way more EQ than the others, but it's maybe not as factual as I found some of the others. So you just need to start playing around with them and find one that works for you. But it is a fantastic tool.
Thank you, James.
No, thanks for inviting me.